Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the pre-show. I'm John Adarola. Good morning, Dragon Squad, and welcome to Thursday. Thursday, one of the days where we have a co-host, and you don't necessarily know who it is, unless you're on Twitter, and then you'd know. It's Dan from the internet. Dan Evans, many years ago, one of the first producers for the show, one of my favorite people to have on as a co-host, is going to be joining us once again. So you know we're going to be traveling to a little place we call Grift Nation to see what the grift is about lately. And we've got some pretty amazing examples of it, as well as a packed rundown. I mean, we got so much we're going to be talking about the announcement of the select committee and the new IPCC report leaks and the Supreme Court targeting unions and Tucker Carlson's really interested in who's putting chocolate on their junk and a suspicious suicide, or was it? So, look, we got a lot that we're going to be talking about. Don't worry about that. But we also have a good amount that we're going to try to fit into what's going to have to be a pretty concise pre-show. I still got some stuff I have to do before we launch into the show and hook up with Dan. So we're going to try to cover as much as we can. Rob Shively says, hey, Rob says, Dear John and the squad, today I come to you with a most urgent plea. Please help me in my endeavor to replace feeling nostalgic with feeling nasty. Together we can make this dream a reality. I think feeling nostalgic for like a sexual encounter or a relationship you were in, that could be feeling nasty. Other than that, I'm not sure that it's necessarily going to catch on, but best of luck to you. Kiki says 114 degrees possible this weekend. I live in the Willamette Valley of Oregon. Yeah, the heat wave is going to be insane. We're going to be talking about heat. Jenny, don't even mention Emma Vigeland on my chat. She can do the Young Turks, but not my show. I see how it is. Anna's co-host last night was pretty good. You should book him as a guest on TR sometimes. He was a bit aloof. Anyway, thank you everybody for being here, though. Do appreciate it. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. It looks like about half of you have. I guess that's okay. That's an okay percentage. Emma's live on Majority Report right now. Well, yeah, that's why she can't do it. But hey, Man Money, how's it going? Okay, so what's out there in the news? Well, one story that honestly I don't have much to add, but you should definitely look into it if you haven't seen it, is that in Surfside, Florida, which is near Miami Beach, a residential building collapsed. And as of at least right now, at least as far as I've seen, no reason has been given that this happened or why this is possible to happen. Residential buildings generally don't just collapse in the United States. So anyway, at this point, I don't know. Witnesses said they heard people screaming. I don't know if there is some sort of estimate of possible loss of life or, I don't know, but it is devastating. And that's going to be developing throughout the day. Perhaps more information will be available by the time the Young Turks goes live. But John says they had heavy equipment on the roof from what I heard. Yeah, I hadn't heard that, but that should not be enough to cause the building to collapse. I mean, that still indicates some sort of issue, potentially. So that is out there. Cheryl says, Chocolate Addicted Dragon has arrived. Well, then you're going to want to stay tuned for the show because we've got a block about chocolate. It's not necessarily what you would expect. It's weird, but it's Tucker Carlson, so what do you expect? Ted Cruz Wedgie Dragon, hey, Ted Cruz, says, week started out rough, but improved with the Sam Cedar owning. Anna's reaction to the story and an unexpected raise yesterday. Well, that's pretty. You left the best to last. But yeah, Anna's definitely going to enjoy that. You know, she's a fan of Sam Cedar, and she thinks that the debate bro antics are pretty ridiculous. So yeah, she's gonna enjoy that. But I'm glad that you got the raise. That's pretty awesome. Okay. Let's see. Oh, can I talk about the thing that's the news potentially that's pissing me off the most? I mean, not really, because it's in an area that I've pretty much just written off. I'm just done with it. But this headline from Petapixel. Instagram tests suggested posts that can appear ahead of friends. So what does that mean? Well, with a small number of users, they're suggesting something where instead of just suggested posts coming at the end of your feed, they're going to be mixed throughout the browsing experience, possibly coming ahead of posts from those users follow. What the fuck, honestly? Like, now, I don't use Instagram that much because this is just another worsening of the feed, which was, I think, effectively killed when they decided, oh, you want to see things in the order people post them when they post them? No, fuck you. You don't get to do that. Oh, you followed these people because you thought that that would mean that you'd get to see their posts? Fuck you, you stupid peasant. I'll tell you which of their posts you get to see based on my algorithm. And I'll tell you when you get to see it. So sure, they post a photo of their new baby or their chocolate cake or their trip to the beach. You can see it fucking tomorrow. Okay, maybe. Maybe I'll let you see it tomorrow. You dumb dummy. You thought that just because you followed them, you'd get to see their content? Fuck you, we got ads to sell. I'll give you what I want to give you. I fucking hate that so much. And Instagram, I think, is possibly the worst version of it. Like, Twitter did something like that, but they allowed you at least to do a chronological timeline. Like, they tried to make it the thing with the algorithm, and they decided and everything, but it's fucking Twitter. Like, they said it then, I need to know. Literally, if 5 minutes go by, I'm not gonna know what they're talking about. That's how every trending topic already works. And Instagram is worse than that because they, like, think about how much contempt they have for their user base. That they could easily have the option to do a chronological timeline. Could they not? Like, they don't have the technology, they can't figure that out. But they've decided, fuck you, you don't even get the choice to do that. We have so much faith and confidence and lust for money in our the algorithmic version that we came up, our suggested posts and all that, that we're not even going to give you the option to opt out of it. That is so fucking condescending. And I use Instagram probably 5% as much as I did years ago, back when you could actually see the shit that you signed up to see. And it's not just them, of course, even YouTube. Like, how many of you actually got notifications for this? Those of you who regularly watch this, which you'd think the algorithm would take into account, that have subscribed to the channel, that have rung the bell, and then click that you want to get all the notifications. No notification, nope, sometimes not me, I did, nope, never get notified, because fuck you. You think that you're signing on to get this stuff? No. We will keep raising the bar, we'll keep making it so YouTubers have to tell you to do all this shit, and then even in the end, we won't let you actually get it. How about you let us choose what we want to see? How about you make subscribing to something actually mean something? Like that you actually want to see their content. And by the way, if it turns out that you don't like it when the content pops up, then you'll unsubscribe. No, they don't want that. They want you to stay subscribed to stuff you don't see and you might not even want to see because they like artificially boosting the numbers. It looks good for them or whatever. So anyway, Instagram now is just going to put their suggested shit, which just means like ad-sponsored stuff, promotional stuff, whatever. Yeah, you subscribe to TDR, best I can do is a CNN recommendation. Yeah, oh God. And the thing is, honestly, like, it's too late for some competitor that respected its audience to pop up. No, Percy, the Rudy stuff is coming. I just fucking hate it so much. Instagram used to be good. Just put up some pictures. That's it. Nope. You don't get to see what you want. It's like I load it up, and it's nonsense. It's just fucking nonsense. Emma solo hosting. It's the M Majority Report. Mark Bug says, I just log on at 11 and wait. Love Dragon Daddy. Well, thank you. I very much appreciate that, but you shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to rely on that you're actually going to get the notification. Like there is literally nothing you can do to guarantee that you get a notification. Isn't that crazy? That is crazy. Wayne says, heard of Google ending cookies by 2022? I did not. But I'm sure they'll come up with something worse to replace them. Anyway, a little bit of maybe good news, but it's good news like they're putting out the football and you're like, oh good, I'm gonna try to kick it. That's good news up until you try to kick it. Speaker Pelosi says, we will not take up a bill in the House until the Senate passes this is the infrastructure thing, passes the bipartisan bill and a reconciliation bill. If there is no bipartisan bill, then we'll just go when the Senate passes a reconciliation bill. So this idea that they're gonna separate into two separate things, she is indicating that the House is not going to allow them to screw us over by doing the first one, which has fuck all in it, and then, oh no, we're totally going to get the reconciliation one that'll be way better. So she's saying she's not going to allow that. If you actually do it. If you don't, then no. Stop leading me on. Laura Wild says, you're so cute, John. Go get yourself a coffee, BB. I will. Hey, I haven't actually yawned yet. Moondragon says somebody needs a hug. I get plenty of hugs. I'm just mad about social media. Anyway, did you all see the, I think it's called The Harder They Fall? Do you see the trailer for the, I'm not wearing pants, for the new Netflix Western that's coming up with Regina King and Idris Elba and a whole bunch of other people? Looks pretty good. There's no genre of movie that I more want to enjoy but have more difficulty enjoying than Westerns. I do think that there's so much potential there. But there are few genres that are as weighed down by the inertia of the tropes that are expected and all that. I hope that this one breaks through. It looks pretty interesting. And maybe if it is, maybe I can finally do something with my Western novel. Angie Baby says, lucky you have a hella loyal badass Dragon Squad who knows when you go live. By the way, I'm Dragon Baby, no relation to Dragon Daddy, Squad calls. Well, thank you, Dragon Baby. I appreciate that. Yeah, and no, like, I love knowing that some of you are going to be here when we go live, because you roughly know when I start. It changes from time to time, but thank you for being flexible with me. Okay. Yes, Emma used to do field stuff for us. She would go to like Trump rallies and talk to the Trumpers. That's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Jess freaking Otega says, John, these damn notifications. I just need someone to message me whenever you go live. I just tweeted about what YouTube has been doing to my notifications. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, they have no respect for the people who use their platforms. That's the problem. Just play Red Dead Redemption 2. Joe, not only did I definitely play it immediately when it came out, but I'm in the middle of a second playthrough right now, actually. They should make it into a movie, honestly. I think that would make an awesome movie. Frau Bucher, isn't that the character from Young Frankenstein? I think that might be. Anyway, welcome to Tier 1 YouTube membership. Enjoy those emojis. Okay, let's see what's going on else in the news. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about, a few years back, Japan was the site of a relatively small-scale test of a 4-day work week, and they found great results from it, great consequences of it, including increased morale, but also increased productivity. Well, now, the Japanese government, which every year puts out economic policy guidelines, is itself encouraging companies to permit their staff to go to work 4 days a week instead of the typical 5. So they did this experiment a couple years go by, and now they're actually saying, hey, it's probably a good idea, maybe you should look into it. Now, that's Japan. Who knows how many companies will actually take it up, although if they're going to, this certainly seems like the year to do it. Maybe that will start to spread to the United States at some point. We're seeing all this stuff about companies getting way more returns on the latest Tom Hanks movie. Sucked huge? No, Tom Hanks movies can't suck. Well, anyway, like, people want to work from home. They want that flexibility. This is certainly a way to give it to them. Kathy McIntyre says, can't wait to hear about Giuliani. It's going to be brief, but we're going to get to it. Okay, Tom Hanks. I need to watch that. It was News of the World, was it? Tom Hanks Western. I want to see Tom Hanks Western. I like Tom Hanks. Okay, let's see. Okay. I did not see Cartman Dragon. I did not see that. For a Few Dollars More is one of my favorite Westerns and movies. Yeah, so my dad used to watch a lot of Clint Eastwood movies, and I have tried. And there are some ones that aren't bad. They're just, like a lot of old movies, they're just paced really slow, and it's hard for me to follow. In Toy Story plays Western. Now, True Grit, I thought, was very good. There are definitely some that I do like. Non-Human Human says, I already have a 4-day week. Don't tell my boss. Blue Knight upgraded their membership to Tier 3. Dear God, do you know what that means, people? That means that in just a couple of hours, Blue Knight is going to be able to participate in our Tier 3 live Q&A each month. And we're having that at noon Pacific today. So look forward to speaking with you. Turbo Wolf 9 million, thank you for the cup of coffee. I appreciate that. Jess, I can't wait to see it. May Money to Building says, I used to do reaction videos to The Walking Dead and The 100, and notifications worked so much better. Tom Hanks went to my high school and pimped out our theater. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, notifications used to work better, and Instagram used to let you do a chronological timeline. These were all very reasonable things, and they somehow decided, maybe even rightly, that they'll make more money by fucking people over. Okay, let's see. I thought about doing this. Maybe I'll put it in tomorrow. Who's my guest? See if they might like this. So for a while they were like, Biden doesn't do any press conferences. It's been 60 days since he did a press conference. And then he did it, and they were like, he didn't talk enough at the press conference. And the next day it's like, hey, when's he going to do another one? It's just this constantly moving goalpost. Well, for literally months now, they've been saying, Kamala Harris hasn't gone to the border. Why won't she go? Then they announced that she's going to go. And so Fox News' Pete Ducey, talking to the press secretary, says, why is she going to the border? And on Fox, they're like, is it just a political decision? Well, what the fuck did you want? You want her to go like purely out of compassion or whatever? First of all, you never accept that. It's just the constantly moving goalposts. It's just, there's so much fundamental dishonesty. Nobody is giving you their honest take on fucking anything. And it is a cheese grater to the brain. Who do we... Oh my God! I forgot who's co-hosting the show tomorrow. Do you know who's co-hosting the show tomorrow? Do you want to guess who's co-hosting the show tomorrow? Give me your best guesses. Ryan Nowicki says, actually, I think I said it on Monday. Ryan Nowicki says, if you could change one thing in Star Wars movies for comedy or plot, what would it be? Minus Anakin loses his rings to the younglings instead of Obi. Okay, that would be pretty funny. Anthony Fedor upgraded their membership to Tier 2, getting access to those top 10 lists each week. Loneswell says, sad day for my home city, Hong Kong. Apple Daily, the last pro-democracy newspaper, has been forced to shut down by the government. Yeah, I did see that. I hope there's some good news from your part of the world. Very sorry to hear that. No, not really. No good news, but we're gonna try to have some fun. I am seeing a lot of Francesca emojis, and that is correct. Franny is gonna be ending the week for us, which is gonna be fun, and she's gonna be choosing a garbage person. God knows who it's gonna be or why it's gonna be. Rain says, do you and Farron Cousins get along? We get along perfectly fine. We don't talk very frequently or anything like that, but he seems like a perfectly lovely guy. Mary, sorry, we're just talking about the notifications. They're effed, actually. Hold on one sec. News of the World, 88% Rotten Tomatoes, generous. That sounds pretty good to me. Every Friday, my wife and I do a movie night. I'm expecting to do iRobot, but maybe News of the World. She likes Tom Hanks. Kat Given says, John, I'm a granny dragon slaying cancer. I only have time for broadcast truth and excellence. Thank you for that, sir. Thank you. Keep on slaying, Granny Dragon, Kat Givens. Tara Sherbinko, welcome to Tier 2 YouTube membership, getting access to those top 10 lists, including, I believe, I have a couple of good ones lined up for Francesca. I really want to do top 10 pet peeves, the sort of general one, but I do have a hard one for her coming up soon, which is the top 10 things that we have to thank the Republicans for. I honestly have no idea what's going to be on the list, but I like the idea, the intellectual exercise of trying to come up with that. Mark Buggs just got the notification. Well, that's useful. John Mulhall says the VP won of a jacket saying I don't care. No, she should wear the jacket, actually. Okay, so we have basically no time. I will save that for later. So, Rudy Giuliani finally gets what's coming to him, at least a little bit. I mean, some of what's coming to him was, being mocked in a major motion picture like Borat 2. That was pretty funny. His face melting live on TV. That's pretty good. This is a bad guy. Remember, you only think of him really now as being a bad guy because he's one of the main legal henchmen for Donald Trump. But no, this is one of the guys that sort of weaponized September 11th. Try to whip people up into a permanent frenzy against Muslims, a permanently subservient position or submissive position when it comes to the national security state and surveillance and all that. This is one of the guys that did that. And so watching him over the last few years visibly lose his mind and become a laughingstock has been kind of enjoyable in terms of schadenfreude. But now, finally, there's some sort of legal consequence. Not in terms of him going to jail, that's never going to happen or whatever, but he has lost his ability to practice law in New York. So there's two bits of news for you. One, that he lost that. Two, that he had that? Seriously? He could actually practice law. It's very Cousin Vinny. Rudy Giuliani would walk in, potentially, and sit down at a table with a briefcase full of papers and talk about the law. How fucking crazy is that? But anyway, let's see what they said in the announcement of this. We conclude that there is uncontroverted evidence that respondent communicated demonstrably false and misleading statements to courts, lawmakers, and the public at large in his capacity as lawyer for former President Donald J. Trump and the Trump campaign in connection with Trump's failed effort at re-election in 2020. These false statements were made to improperly bolster respondents' narrative that due to widespread voter fraud, victory in the 2020 United States presidential election was stolen from his client. We conclude that respondents' conduct immediately threatens the public interest and warrants interim suspension from the practice of law pending further proceedings from the Attorney Grievance Committee. This is apparently quite rare. I'm not an expert, but that's what some of the experts are saying. You don't generally have this happen to you. But finally, Rudy Giuliani. I don't know how much he cares about this. I don't know whether he will still label himself as a lawyer, but at least it's something. And at this point, I will take almost any consequence for people who engage in such bad faith with the American people. We only have a minute or two. Frau Bucher says, hi, John. Greetings from Germany, and thanks for consistently great shows about Jesse Waters. That's the same logic as if we stopped teaching about the Shoah, because that would be in itself anti-Semitic. Yeah, when they send Jesse Waters, they're not sending their best. But thank you, Frau. I appreciate that. And hello to Germany. I've had a couple of fun little trips to Germany. Okay, Dragonheart says, you might want to try watching the movie Dragonheart. I have watched the movie Dragonheart. Don't worry about that. Okay. Robert Ryder, thank you for the super chat, saying, John, you seem stressed today. Take some time out and just meditate on puppies and kittens. Always helps me. No, I'm going to. We're going to have a fun live Q&A after the show today. That always is a great experience. I'm going to try to get a little bit of writing or editing done. And today, I believe, will be the day that I will put the finishing touches on my board game coffee table, which I'm going to hopefully unveil on Instagram, instagram.com/SeanArola, and possibly on the main show on Wednesday next week during the bonus episode. But I'm very excited for that. I've been working on it in weeks. I think it's almost done. Woodworking has been very relaxing for me, although figuring out what I'm going to do for walls in my shed has been the opposite of that. MSM says, does it count if we thank the Republicans in the late 1800s when they were the former Democratic Party? Happy Friday Eve, Dragon Dad and Dragon Squad. No, it does not. Basically, what do we have to thank conservatives for? Some girl, no, that didn't happen. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching the pre-show. Dan from the internet is coming up in 15 or so minutes. You can watch here. You can go to twitch.tv/TYT, but either case, it's going to be a lot of fun. You're not going to want to miss the chocolate story. I'll see you then.